Fields, Executive Vice President, Ford Motor Company.
So, Mark, how are you guys managing in this economic downturn slash freefall?
Well, we're managing by staying focused on our plan. We have a very clear plan, a 4-point plan to return the company to profitability, and it's a question of almost every week staying on top of what's happening in the marketplace from a sales standpoint, from what's going on in the dealership standpoint, from looking at the monthly economic metrics that come out from the various government authorities. And it's really the clock speed in which we stay focused on what's going on in the external market is much quicker than we've ever looked at before to stay on top of a very volatile market. I'd put it this way, volatility is the new normal.
You know, it's got to be even harder for you because you're one of the Detroit 3. And it's got to be harder for you to just be able to stay focused on bringing out the new product that you've just brought out today.
Well, it's, it could be easy to get distracted on events that are unfolding in the industry. I think our advantage is, we've had this transformation plan over the last couple of years. It's been working. We made a profit in the first quarter, but clearly with the global economic downturn and the pain that's inflicted on the total economy, and in particular in the automotive industry, we fall back on focusing on our plan. And if we keep our people focused on that, keep the external environment down to at least a minimum level of distraction, we'll keep soldiering on, I think, and continue to make progress.
One or two of the Detroit 3 went out of business. How would it affect your company and the auto industry?
Well, I think it would affect the industry significantly because we are a uniquely interdependent industry when you look at the supply base. So if one of the companies goes bankrupt, that will have a severe ripple effect through not only the auto industry, but through the supply base, through our dealers. We, for example, 80% of our suppliers have another OEM as a customer, and from a dealership standpoint, I think about 20% of our dealers have another domestic franchise. So clearly, it would have a very, very big impact on the industry and us.
Have you seen any liquidity in the credit market coming back?
We've seen some, I would call it stabilization, but I think it's a combination of, we've seen the lending standards continue to be very restrictive, but I also think it's a mindset issue with customers thinking that there's no credit out there. In our case, in Ford Motor Company, through Ford Motor Credit, we have not changed our lending practices, and we're loaning money for customers who want to buy vehicles. But I think customers, their own mindset might be there's no credit available, and that's just not true. But overall, we haven't seen any appreciable improvement in the credit markets.
Do you see that? Do you see the part where they're afraid to spend money?
Well, I think anytime there's a large economic downturn and people are unsure about their jobs and whether they're going to have incomes, I think clearly people are kind of snapping shut their pocketbooks right now, not only for cars, but for everything. I mean, the third quarter spending by consumers fell 3%. And I think that's the first time that's fallen in a generation.
In the auto industry, if an Indian auto manufacturer bought Chrysler and or a Chinese auto manufacturer bought General Motors, how would that affect your business and the auto industry?
I don't think it would affect our business in terms of how we go about executing our plan one iota, because our plan is we've been very consistent, and it works the cost side of the business, getting our structure right, and it works the revenue side of the business, which means bringing out products that people want and value. So we're going to continue with that and take on all comers in the marketplace, and whether they're domestic or foreign, we're going to stay focused.
When Alan Mulally came in and you guys did that whole reorg, and I heard plan forward, I think is what it was called, but you got a loan then.
Yes.
And everybody was saying, oh, that's ridiculous, they shouldn't be doing it. You're kind of looking kind of smart now, aren't you? You have that money. So.
Well, I think one of the reasons for our liquidity situation, which, based on our current planning assumptions and the actions that we have put in place to improve our cash position, we're hopeful, obviously, that our liquidity is sufficient to get us through these times. And a big part of that was the fact that we went to the markets a little over 2 years ago for loans at fairly reasonable rates at the time. And I think that's one of the reasons why we have the liquidity that we do today.
Mark, it's a trying time, and I really appreciate you being able to sit down and talk.
Oh, my pleasure.